If you see a soda called Uncle Al's Pop at your local gas station, leave it on the shelf. I've already lost a friend to it. I guess I should start from the beginning. My friend Jenny had picked me up in her red pickup truck and was driving me to her house. We were talking about most of the way there, and our conversation transitioned from the upcoming Star Wars movie to there being more deer in this town than usual, to this new soda Jenny had bought at the gas station. It's called Uncle Al's Pop. She explained, generic name, I know, but I have only drank a couple cans and I'm already addicted. The stuff is freaking delicious. Best soda ever. You'll have to try some when we get there. Sure enough, as soon as we arrived at her place, she took me to her back deck where a blue cooler sat by the steps. Inside the cooler, mixed with the ice, were a dozen pale green soda cans with the name Uncle Al's Pop written on each of them. She pulled out 2 cans, one for me and one for herself. "Try it," she said, handing me my can. I pulled the tab open and a bit of soda fizzed out. It was a sickly yellow-green color I had never seen in soda before. Despite this, I remember the lesson of Dr. Seuss' Green Eggs and Ham. Don't judge food by their color. I tilted the can back and took a small sip. I regret taking that sip, for 2 reasons. The long-term reason you'll find out later, but the short-term reason was that the soda tasted horrid, like piss mixed with ink. I wanted to spit it out, but I didn't want to offend my friend, so after much struggling, I managed to swallow the awful stuff. "What do you think?" she asked. I placed the can on the table. "Not my favorite," I said, wincing from the nasty aftertaste. Jenny shrugged. "To each their own," she said, chugging down her can before tossing it into the recycle bin and going to the cooler for seconds. She clearly felt the opposite about the soda than I did. It didn't surprise me that much. Jenny had always been a lot less picky eater than I was. I had seen her tolerate strange dishes from durians to oysters. She always made fun of my inability to handle these foods, calling me a tender tongue. When she drank from her second can, I noticed a brown spot on her arm. The spot started out small at first, looking like a freckle that hadn't been there recently. But then suddenly it was the size of a quarter. I then noticed a bunch of other brown spots forming on her arms and legs. Jenny?" I asked. She lowered the can from her lips. "Yes," she said. I jumped and she gazed at me. Her face looked more elonged than ever. Previously, her nose was turning black, and her ears looked longer and larger. I said, struggling to find the words. I didn't need to. Jenny looked down and let out a cry as she noticed now her completely brown arms and legs. She scratched one leg, and I noticed what appeared to be fur on that area. Then she reached up and felt her face, before screaming and running inside. I followed her to the bathroom where she slammed the door and locked it. I put my ear against the door where I could hear her panicking. "No, no, no, no! What's happening to me? This isn't happening! Help! Oh God! Ah! Help! Ah! God, help! Help! Ah!" I felt chills run through my bones. I had never heard this terrified before. She sounded like she was in severe pain of some kind. 10 minutes passed of her screaming and sobbing into the bathroom. Soon the screaming was accompanied by banging. It sounded like a frightened animal was trapped in there. Kicking on the door walls, the screaming began to turn into a brain sound that reminded me of a wounded goat. What is happening there? I thought to myself the whole time. What should I do? Should I call 911? Should I unlock the door and get her out of there? My thoughts were interrupted by the sound of breaking glass, which I instantly realized the bathroom window. I ran to the living room and peeked out the window there, noticing a deer galloping in the area where the bathroom was. The deer turned and looked in my direction, and I swear to God I noticed a strange expression in its eyes, an expression that resembled a mixture between fear, confusion, and sadness. After a few moments of staring at me like that, the deer turned and ran off into the woods. The next day I got a call from Jenny's mother telling me that her daughter was missing and asked if I had any idea where she was. I lied and told her that I hadn't seen her recently. I mean, would you believe me if I told you I had seen your daughter turn to a deer after drinking a magic soda of some kind? She told me that she'd call the police if Jenny wasn't seen by tonight. I hung up, and that's when I noticed the brown spot on my arm, identical to the one I had seen on Jenny. I touched her with one finger and it felt like fur. I realized that the horror, whatever it was in the soda, was affecting me as well. Clearly my transformation couldn't be as fast as Jenny's, since I didn't drink anywhere near as much soda as she did, but sooner or later I would be a deer like her. And then I remember the growing deer population, how many other people drank that soda without knowing which was in each can. How many folks were now running around in town losing their mind in the body of a hoofed mammal. It's been about a week since my transformation started. I locked myself up in the basement since I don't want anyone freaked out by the mutant deer monster running around. Every hour I feel my organs and bones slowly reshaping. God, it hurts. As horrific as Jenny's transformation may have been, at least it was a fast compared to mine, only lasting about 10 minutes as opposed to being drawn out over a week. My fingers are becoming hooves, making it quite hard to type, so I have to turn my head to get a good look at the screen, since my eyes are a lot further than to the side than they used to be. I'm posting near this hoping that other people will heed my warning not to buy that cursed soda. Call a friend or family member and tell them about it as well. In the meantime, I wish that hunting season would come sooner. Then me, Jenny, and all those poor innocent people turned deer will be finally put out of misery.
What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Ms. Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, please stay pretty.